The exile. The Grand Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Counselor Gentar activated the holographic display. The massive room, carved from a single asteroid and lined with iridescent materials from 1,000 worlds, housed representatives from the 12 most powerful species in the known universe, their attention fixed on the slowly rotating image of a blue-green planet. Earth, the serpentine counselor hissed, his scales shimmering under the chamber's ambient light. Third planet of the Sol system, inhabited by a species known as humans, or rather, it was. Commander Elara Reeves stood motionless at the observation deck, watching the proceedings through reinforced glass. As head of the Galactic Archaeological Survey, she had been summoned to witness this session, but not to participate. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, her face betraying no emotion despite the hammering of her heart against her ribcage. 200 cycles ago, continued Gentar, the planet experienced what appeared to be a natural cataclysm. A sudden stellar event from their sun rendered the surface uninhabitable. The few human colonies established beyond their homeworld withered without support. For all intents and purposes, humanity has been erased from the galactic stage. Elara's fingers tightened around the ancient artifact in her pocket, a small metallic cube recovered from an abandoned outpost on the edge of the Orion Arm. The object that had triggered this unusual council meeting. And yet, the counselor's voice dropped to a menacing tone. Archaeological survey has uncovered anomalies. The hologram shifted to display Elara's discovery, the cube, along with a trove of other human artifacts recently unearthed across multiple sectors. Objects that, according to their molecular dating, had been distributed long after humanity's supposed extinction. Commander Reeves, Gentar called, activating her communication channel. Please explain the significance of these findings. Elara stepped forward, her voice steady despite the tension coursing through her body. The artifacts suggest human activity continued well beyond the Sol catastrophe. Furthermore, the technological sophistication indicates advancement rather than decline. What she didn't say, what she couldn't say without proof, was that the natural cataclysm that destroyed Earth felt increasingly suspicious the more she investigated it. Thank you, Commander. Gentar dismissed her with a wave. The Council will now deliberate in private. As the observation deck darkened and the Council chamber faded from view, Elara clutched the cube tighter. She knew more than she had revealed. The cube wasn't merely an artifact. It was a data storage device, and she had decoded just enough to understand that humanity's story was far from over. 200 years earlier, General Ketlon of the Draconid Imperium paced the command deck of his flagship, the Inevitable Dominance. Through the viewport, Earth hung suspended in space, blissfully unaware of the armada surrounding it, cloaked by technology far beyond human comprehension. The containment field is prepared, General, his second-in-command reported. Once activated, it will accelerate their sun's fusion process in a controlled manner. The solar flares will render the planet temporarily uninhabitable, but preserve most of its biosphere for future use. Ketlon nodded, his reptilian features hardening. And the human colonies beyond Sol, isolated and vulnerable. Without Earth, they lack the resources to sustain themselves. They will wither naturally. The general turned to the third figure on the bridge, a towering crystalline entity representing the collective consciousness of the Aetherians. And your council approves this action, observer. The crystal being pulsed with inner light as it communicated telepathically. The Grand Galactic Council has determined that humanity represents an unacceptable variable in the cosmic equation. Their unpredictability, their rapid technological advancement, their biological adaptability, all pose existential threats to galactic stability. They are barely spacefaring, Ketlon countered, surprising himself with his own objection. They have only reached their neighboring planets. We have run the simulations 10,000 times, General, the observer responded coldly. In every scenario where humanity is allowed to develop unhindered, they dominate the galaxy within 5 millennia. In 60% of those scenarios, they eliminate all other sentient life, intentionally or otherwise. Ketlon stared at the beautiful blue world. In his centuries of military service, he had never questioned the Council's decisions. Yet something about this preemptive strike against a species that had barely left its cradle disturbed him. "Proceed," he finally ordered, pushing aside his misgivings. For the stability of the galaxy, the containment field activated, invisible to human detection. Within hours, Earth's sun began to behave erratically. Solar flares of unprecedented magnitude lashed out, overwhelming Earth's magnetic field. Communications failed. Power grids collapsed. Radiation poisoning began claiming lives by the millions. What the Council hadn't anticipated was humanity's desperate resilience. As their world burned, thousands of hastily assembled arcs launched into space, many without proper navigation or life support. Most failed. Some survived. And aboard the lead ship, Defiance, Dr. Samuel Chen watched his homeworld disappear behind them, carrying in his mind the truth that their apocalypse had not been natural at all. And in his laboratory, the seeds of humanity's ultimate return. 50 years after Earth's devastation, the human colony on Proxima Centauri, the now simply called Proxima, struggled under the watchful eye of its protectors. The Draconid Imperium had claimed the system shortly after the Exodus, offering the desperate human survivors a devil's bargain. Servitude in exchange for survival. Maya Chen, great-granddaughter of Samuel Chen, moved carefully through the crowded market district of New Providence, the largest human settlement on Proxima. The planet was a harsh world of extreme temperature variations, scorching days and freezing nights, with thin air that never quite satisfied human lungs. But they had adapted. They always did. "Citizen, your identification," a mechanized voice demanded. A Draconid enforcement drone hovered before her, its scanning beam already sweeping across her face. Maya presented her arm, where an identification chip had been implanted beneath her skin. "Maya Chen, Agricultural Division, Section 8, she recited dutifully. The drone processed the information. "You are outside your designated sector during work hours." "I have authorization," Maya replied, producing a tablet with official clearance. "See delivery to the Northern Quadrant." The document was flawless. Her cousin had become an expert at forging Draconid authorizations. The seeds in her bag were real enough, but they weren't going to the Northern Quadrant's official farms. They were bound for the underground cultivation chambers, where the Resistance conducted their real work. "Proceed," the drone finally responded, moving on to harass the next human in the market. Maya continued her journey, taking the circuitous route to ensure she wasn't followed. Eventually, she descended into an abandoned mining shaft that led to a vast underground complex, the true heart of what remained of free humanity. The cavern opened up before her, revealing the hidden city bathed in artificial daylight. Hydroponics gardens stretched in all directions, growing food away from Draconid oversight. But it was the central laboratory that was the true miracle, a place where human ingenuity continued to flourish despite all attempts to suppress it. "You're late," a gruff voice called out. Dr. Elias Okafor, the Resistance's lead scientist, peered at her over holographic schematics that filled the air around him. "Drone checkpoint," Maya explained, depositing her precious cargo. "Any progress?" Elias smiled. "A rare sight these days. Your great-grandfather's work was nothing short of miraculous. The quantum entanglement principles he discovered before the Exodus, we finally managed to replicate them." He gestured toward a small device on the central table, an unassuming cube that pulsed with inner light. "Is that?" "A quantum communicator," Elias confirmed. "Untraceable by conventional means. We've been broadcasting for 3 months now." Maya's heart raced. "Any response?" "Yesterday," Elias whispered, his voice dropping even though they were among friends. "From Epsilon Eridani. There are more of us out there, Maya. Many more than the Draconids realize. And they've been busy." Maya approached the cube, her fingers hovering just above its surface. "What happens now?" "Now," Elias said, his eyes gleaming with a hope she hadn't seen in years, "we prepare for the next phase." The message from Epsilon contained technological specifications far beyond anything we've developed here. They'd been free to innovate, hidden from the Council's oversight. "How is that possible?" "The Council monitors everything." "Not everything," Elias countered. The message mentioned something called the blind spots, regions in the galaxy where certain quantum fluctuations mask activities from Council sensors. Our cousins at Epsilon found one by accident. They'd been building there for generations. Maya stared at the quantum communicator, feeling the weight of history shifting around them. Building what? Elias looked at her, determination hardening his features. "Our return. The resurgence." Commander Ilara Reeves had never intended to become a fugitive. As her stolen survey vessel, the Artemis, broke orbit around the Galactic Council's headquarters on Alpha Prime, proximity alarms screamed warnings of pursuit craft launching from the surface. "Quantum jump drive charged at 87%, reported the ship's eye. "Pursuit vessels will intercept in approximately 3 minutes. "We don't have 3 minutes," Ilara muttered, her hands flying across the control interfaces. "Execute jump at current charge." Warning: executing jump at less than 90% charge significantly increases spatial displacement error. Noted. Do it anyway. The stars outside the viewport elongated as the quantum jump drive engaged, tearing a hole in conventional space. The Artemis shuddered violently, systems flickering as they strained under the premature jump. Then, with a final lurch that sent Ilara sprawling across the command deck, they emerged in a different sector entirely. The cube from her pocket, the artifact that had started everything, now sat connected to the ship's main computer, its inner light pulsing in a steady rhythm. It wasn't just a data storage device, as she had initially thought. It was a beacon and a key. Ilara pulled herself up, checking the navigation system. "Where are we?" "Spatial coordinates unknown," the AI responded. No matching stellar patterns in database. Yet something about the starfield outside seemed familiar to Ilara. She had studied ancient Earth astronomical records extensively during her research. This region of space had been photographed by human telescopes millennia ago. "Cross-reference with historical Earth star charts," she commanded. A moment passed. "Match found. We are approximately 50 light-years from the former location of Earth, in what humans once called the Epsilon Eridani system." Ilara felt a chill run through her. The cube had guided them here, overriding the ship's navigational systems during the unstable jump. And as the Artemis drifted deeper into the system, her sensors detected something that shouldn't exist: a massive artificial structure orbiting the system's fourth planet. "Incoming transmission," the AI announced. A human face appeared on the main display, a woman with dark skin and fierce eyes. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourself immediately." Ilara stood straighter. "This is Commander Ilara Reeves of the Galactic Archaeological Survey. I've come following the signal of this device." She held up the cube. The woman's expression changed instantly from suspicion to astonishment. "A nexus key," she breathed. "Stand by for docking instructions, Commander. Welcome to Haven." The space station Haven dwarfed anything Ilara had seen before, a sprawling construct of interconnected modules, manufacturing facilities, and shipyards, all hidden within a quantum distortion field that rendered it invisible to standard Council detection methods. Admiral Kiana Chen, direct descendant of the legendary Samuel Chen and current leader of Haven, led Ilara through corridors bustling with activity. Humans worked alongside species Ilara recognized: Arcturians, Proxians, even a few Draconid defectors, building something that appeared to be a massive fleet. "For 2 centuries, Admiral Chen explained, the scattered remnants of humanity have been gathering, growing, and preparing. The quantum communication network my ancestor designed before the Exodus has kept us connected, hidden from Council surveillance. But how? Ilara questioned. The Council monitors all faster-than-light communications. Conventional ones, yes. But Samuel Chen discovered something unique about human neurology. Our brains can be attuned to quantum entanglement in ways other species cannot. The Nexus keys, she nodded toward the cube Ilara carried, allow us to communicate through what we call the quantum consciousness, a network that exists outside normal spacetime. They entered a vast chamber where the centerpiece was a holographic map of the galaxy, with hundreds of points illuminated across its spiral arms. Each light represents a human enclave. Admiral Chen explained. Some are open colonies on frontier worlds. Others are hidden in plain sight, integrated into alien societies. And some, she pointed to several bright clusters, full-scale industrial and military installations like Haven, built in the blind spots. Ilara struggled to process the scale of what she was seeing. All this time, the Council believed humanity was a dying species, reduced to a few struggling settlements. That was the narrative we encourage. Admiral Chen smiled. While they watched the decoy colonies wither, our real work proceeded undetected. But why reveal yourselves now? Why lead me here? Admiral Chen's expression grew serious. Because the Council has discovered anomalies they can no longer ignore. Your archaeological findings were just the beginning. We knew it was only a matter of time before they realized humanity wasn't fading away. We were transforming. She gestured for Ilara to follow her to another section of the station. This area was clearly a research facility, where scientists worked with technologies that seemed to blend biological and mechanical components in ways Ilara had never seen. What you're seeing is the culmination of 200 years of evolution and innovation, Admiral Chen explained. Forced to adapt to dozens of different worlds, human physiology has diversified remarkably. Combined with our technological advancements. She trailed off, allowing Ilara to draw her own conclusions. You're planning to confront the Council, Ilara realized. That's suicide. Their combined fleets are powerful but conventional. Admiral Chen finished for her. Our approach is different. She placed her hand on a scanner, and a secure door slid open to reveal the true heart of Haven's research. A massive chamber where what appeared to be living ships were being grown rather than built. Biomechanical vessels, Admiral Chen explained. Self-healing, semi-sentient, and capable of utilizing the quantum consciousness for instantaneous travel. No conventional drive signatures for the Council to track. Ilara moved closer to one of the vessels, noticing how its surface rippled like muscle beneath skin. This technology, it's beyond anything in Council records. That was the point. A new voice interjected. An elderly man approached, supported by exoskeletal enhancements. The Council predicted every possible technological path based on their understanding of human innovation. So we chose a path they couldn't predict. We merged with the very environments that were meant to kill us. Admiral Chen nodded respectfully. Commander Reeves, meet Dr. Marcus Okafor, our chief scientist and grandson of the resistance leader, who maintained our technological development on Proxima. Okafor gestured to his exoskeleton. The harsh conditions of Proxima led us to develop cybernetic enhancements. The radiation storms of Ta City forced genetic adaptations. The mineral-rich oceans of Captain's World inspired our bioorganic computing. Each challenge became an opportunity. Ilara's archaeological training helped her piece together the implications. You've become a species the Council's predictive models never accounted for. Exactly. Admiral Chen confirmed. And now that they're beginning to realize this, we must move forward with the final phase. Which is revelation, Admiral Chen said simply. It's time for humanity to step out of the shadows and claim our place in the galaxy. Not as conquerors, but as the unifiers we were always meant to be. The Grand Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos as every communication system simultaneously activated with the same message. A human face, broadcast across thousands of worlds. "People of the galaxy," began Admiral Kiana Chen, her image crisp and clear despite the Council's frantic attempts to block the transmission. 2 centuries ago, the leadership of this council attempted to eradicate humanity, fearing what we might become. Today, we reveal what we have become. Councillor Gentar hissed in fury as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Human-designed quantum communicators were activating everywhere, bypassing all security protocols. More alarming were the readings from Council military outposts. Massive vessels of unknown configuration had appeared near major strategic installations, seemingly materializing from nowhere. Our ships now hold position near every major Council military installation. Admiral Chen continued, her voice calm but unyielding. "We do not come seeking vengeance for the attempted genocide of our species. We come offering a new beginning." The holographic display at the center of the Council chamber changed, showing the biomechanical ships in orbit around key worlds. They dwarfed the Council's conventional vessels, yet had taken no hostile action. "We have evolved beyond what your models predicted," Admiral Chen explained. "While you watched our decoy colonies struggle, our true settlements flourished in the spaces your sensors couldn't reach. We developed technologies by embracing the very environments you thought would destroy us." Commander Ilara Reeves stood beside the Admiral during the transmission, providing the face of legitimacy that many in the Council would recognize. "The quantum communication network now linking every world in Council space cannot be disabled," Admiral Chen continued. "It represents just one of many technologies we are prepared to share, but this sharing must come with acknowledgement of past wrongs and a commitment to a more just future." Gentar slammed his fist on the control panel. "This is blackmail. They're threatening us with superior firepower while claiming peaceful intentions." The Aetherian representative, a newer crystal entity than the one present during Earth's destruction, pulsed thoughtfully. "Yet they have not fired a single weapon despite having the tactical advantage. Our own simulations would have predicted immediate retribution given their position." "Because this isn't about revenge," Ilara's voice cut in, addressing the Council directly. "I've seen their civilization. They could have struck without warning, but instead they're offering cooperation. They're demonstrating exactly why your predecessors were wrong about humanity." The chamber fell silent as the Council members exchanged glances. The human fleet had them militarily checkmated. Their communication networks were compromised. And yet the terms being offered were surprisingly moderate. "We propose a new galactic compact," Admiral Chen concluded. "One where humanity takes its place as an equal partner, where technology is shared rather than hoarded, and where no species lives in fear of preemptive extinction because of what they might become." As the transmission ended, the Council sat in stunned silence. The galaxy they had carefully managed for millennia had transformed overnight. The species they had tried to erase had instead evolved into something beyond their comprehension, yet had chosen negotiation over retribution. "It appears," the Aetherian representative finally observed, "that our ancestors' greatest fear has come to pass. Humanity has indeed changed the cosmic equation, just not in the way they predicted." Councillor Gentar looked around the chamber, reading the shifting attitudes of his fellow Council members. The balance of power had irrevocably shifted. "Prepare a response," he ordered reluctantly. Tell them the Council is ready to begin discussions on their proposed compact." 1 year after the revelation, as it came to be known, Ilara Reeves stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Harmony Station, a massive structure orbiting the neutral space between major galactic powers. As Earth's official representative to the new galactic compact, she watched vessels from a dozen species dock at the station's multiple arms. Admiral Chen, now serving as humanity's High Ambassador, joined her at the viewport. "Having second thoughts about leaving archaeological work behind?" she asked with a knowing smile. Ilara shook her head. "I'm still uncovering history, just helping to make it now rather than digging it up later." She gestured to the ships outside. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when you first began building Haven?" "Not exactly," Chen admitted. We prepared for war while hoping for peace. In the end, our greatest weapon wasn't our fleet or technology. It was showing the galaxy a different path forward. Below them on the main concourse, humans walked freely among species that had once conspired to destroy them. Knowledge flowed in all directions. Triumphant engineering principles enhanced by human quantum theories, Aetherian philosophical concepts merged with human creative expression, creating new hybrid sciences that benefited all. There will always be those who resist change, Ilara noted, watching a group of conservative counselors huddled in obvious discomfort. The old council structure had existed for thousands of years, and would have stagnated completely within a few thousand more, Chen countered. That was what they feared most about humanity. Not that we would destroy them, but that we would change them. As they spoke, a notification appeared. The biomechanical ships had successfully established the first quantum consciousness node in the vicinity of where Earth had once been. The solar engineering project to restore Sol's stability was proceeding ahead of schedule. Earth is coming back, Ilara said softly, not just as a world, but as an idea, the birthplace of a species that refused to be erased. Ambassador Chen nodded, her eyes fixed on the distant stars. They thought humanity was gone, until our civilization re-emerged in glory. But the true glory isn't in our survival alone. It's in what we're building together. Around them, the bustling activity of the station continued. The first tentative steps of a new galactic civilization, one no longer built on fear of the unknown, but on the adaptive, resilient principles that had saved humanity from extinction. They had not merely returned, they had transformed, and in doing so, begun the transformation of the galaxy itself.